Special thanks to Transcend Coffee for letting us record the podcast.
Hey, Columbus. My name is Zach.
And this is Alonzo with Enkindled Media.
And we are here with Mr. Jason Hay to talk about some of the amazing art that he creates. Jason, how you doing today, man?
Hey, I'm doing really well.
Good. That's good to hear. First off, thank you for coming out and doing this. That is huge. You're the first person to do this with us so far, so this is going to be a little bit of a test run. Mm-hmm. But give us a little backstory into what you do for the people listening.
I'm a local artist here, pretty much from Grove City, Ohio, and graduated from Grove City High School.
Nice.
And just a background family of art. So my mom is an artist. Her parents were artists, and I was always around art and the ability to have brushes and paints magically kind of handy, or crayons or whatever it was. And, so I've been around it all my life and watched my mom do art. And I think at some point, she never pushed me,
Yeah.
But it was just happened to be there on the kitchen table. And my memories go back probably to, I want to say 3 years old, where it was Godzilla all the time. So I was fascinated with Godzilla. I thought he was real, and I always wanted to draw him and the tanks and the ships and the army men and boats shooting at him, he's not going to step on my house.
Yeah.
At 3, he's kind of real.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I drew him over and over and over. I hope this is what you wanted me.
Oh, that's exactly.
Yes, please.
I got a sense. They were halfway scribbles, but you could tell it was a boat or a tank.
Yeah.
People at Godzilla, and I drew over and over and over, and got praise from my mom. And
Yeah.
It only fueled me to not give up and just do more. And from there, I just always loved art, and I loved to draw. Got a scholarship. Went to the fast forwarding quick here.
Yeah.
But got a small scholarship from high school, which linked into the Columbus College of Art and Design.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
It helped.
Yeah,
a little
for
bit.
sure,
And,
for sure.
I think more or less, I think it paid for half of my freshman year.
Yeah.
At the time, and that was a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
Pound
that's
for
a
pound,
huge,
yeah.
that's a huge help just to get you in there and get you started and get you into that community.
Yeah, and from there, I just simply, as I was going to school, linked up with some friends that we all kind of the story kind of is we sat around. Hey, let's not do our. I was working. I think I was working at a fast food place, and they were working in the mall. And what can we do with our art? So we, those funny drawings, guys. We didn't know it was called caricature.
Yeah.
At that point, I don't think, not really, but we thought we would try that out at the French Market. The Continent at the time was a happening place, and from there, getting paid every 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
To draw somebody's face. And we were 21, maybe 22.
Oh yeah, so that's huge. I mean, if you have a job that you work for yourself
at $100 a night,
Oh,
it was only time before we were millionaires. Is the thought process on that? Of course, that never happened, but the idea was we didn't give up, and we only improved immensely from that point. And through the years, you just get a little bit better at your craft and your ideas. The methods.
Oh no, for sure. And we're going to feature some of your art on our website if you don't mind, of course, so we, so the people listening can see what you do and just how incredibly detailed, I guess, is the way I would go with it. I mean, looking at what are some of the photos that you have that you've showed me? They're just like, incredible.
Yeah, moving forward, you have this painting of Ace Farley, right? Correct.
Is it Ace? Is it Gene Simmons?
Gene Simmons.
Oh, Gene Simmons.
My apologies.
Yeah, I mean, all those. So how big are those? I've never seen them in person, of course, but how big are those? Because he was telling me they are huge.
The Gene Simmons painting, I believe, is 4 foot by 3.5 feet.
Wow. So how much time do you put into these? Like, how long does it take you from start to finish on one of these?
The big paintings. I've got I don't keep track of my hours. Around anywhere from 60 to 80 hours.
Okay, wow. That's incredible. And that's one of the things I think that a lot of people don't think about is like how much time goes into creating something like that. People see it and they look at it and they're like, wow, someone might cast it of you for 30 seconds, but they don't know how much time the artist puts into something like that.
That's a fair ideal, because I think that they don't really have a clue really what
Yeah.
they see the final product and can enjoy it. I think that when you put a price tag on something like that, that's maybe $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 price tag, they're like, oh my god, that's a lot of money. But you know what? If you break it down and it takes you, you're working day and night for a week and a half to 2 weeks on something, and $3,000 if you sell it, that's not a whole lot of money if you're
considering the hours that you put into it. I mean, that's something that's incredible. Now, this is a question that I wrote down because I've always wanted to ask this to a caricature artist. Have you ever had like a client that got offended by like what you drew? Like, do you ever have people that are just like they want you to do one and then?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've got some stories from now going way back when we first started. We didn't really know what we were doing. As far as caricature. But we would sign up for some of these festivals, and you can get in with a booth fee, and so there were times in the beginning where, and again, we were really it was all new to us and making mistakes in our drawing ability. But you get a tap on the shoulder, and you look back, and the mom says, "Excuse me, but that does not really look like my daughter. You don't have to finish that drawing." They said it nicely as they probably could, but as the artist, the young artist, it crushes. Your not just your ego, but your your feelings are hurt. You feel bad for them.
Your talent. I bet.
And I think there's just two ways to go about as an artist when that happens. It either crushes you and ruins you, and you'll go some other direction and run from that. Or, in our case, I don't know how we did it. We wanted to prevail. We did not want to give up. We're like, you know what? So we buckled down. We dug in. And we faced all those fears, and just really, really tried to improve. And bottom line, did not give up.
Yeah, you turn that negativity into inspiration to just do better, and I think that's definitely huge. Sorry, here we're looking at these. We're looking at these pictures.
Oh, awkward dead space. That's okay.
Exactly.
I don't mind.
Jumping back to those paintings outside of the caricatures. When do you think, or I guess if someone's trying to start art, how important is like the color theory that goes into your paintings, and anyone that's starting it too? Like what should be the train of thought before you start?
The short version of it is probably pretty long. But having said that, I teach. I'm a trained teaching certificate and all that. Substitute teacher, but it's tough to get an art gig these days.
Oh yeah, I definitely believe that.
But I have taught in the past, so I tell my students, it's like this, and especially the younger ones. But the ingredients have to be there. And I don't care if it's music. I mean, your scales they're in such a certain way to sound melodic. If you hit the wrong notes, it's going to be less aesthetically pleasing to the eye.
Yeah.
It's like a delicious cookie, I tell them. So there's all kinds of cookies. There's delicious cookies that are mushy and there's hard, crunchy cookies that are terrible. But a delicious cookie is what you're aiming for. All the ingredients have to be in there. The egg holds it together. If you don't have the egg, it's going to fall apart. Whether it's the sugar or the nuts or the chocolate chips. When you have it all in there, then it's delicious and it's what everybody wants. You start taking some of those ingredients out of there, it's possible that it eventually becomes less delicious. So in art, you have the elements of art. There's basically 7 elements of art. You're putting me on the spot here.
Yeah.
Color. There's value, line, shape, form, space. There's texture, both actual texture and tactile. Tactile being actual and simulated textures. These are the ingredients. Just like those are like the delicious cookie. You have to have all those elements of art into a piece of artwork, and for it to be aesthetically amazing.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
You start taking some of those elements out, and it becomes less aesthetically pleasing, or in other words, less of a delicious cookie. I hope I answered.
No, that's absolutely right.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely what we were looking for. So with that being said, let's hear some backstories on some of these paintings. Now, right now, I'm looking at the Fat Elvis picture.
Yeah, tell us about
Fat
excuse
Elvis.
me, painting.
Fat Elvis. Well, I was always Elvis fan just growing up. So I had I'm old enough that it was the 8-track. My mom had an 8-track player, and I would listen to Beatles, and I would just sit there and learn all the songs, and I don't know why I was just memorized to sit there and listen to him on the 8-track. Loved Elvis. So just iconic. I'm more drawn to painting iconic figures.
Okay.
I throw a little bit of caricature in there.
Yeah, you can definitely see that, but it's like, I mean, it's the detail is just like incredible.
I see sweat off the man's head.
Yeah, I'm like, just the detail that you put into these things.
He has the chest hair and everything.
Incredible.
Well, I'm not afraid to tell you. I mean, I struggle with some of these paintings. I recently took painting back up. I mean, I was trained to paint.
Yeah.
At CCAD, but I've been a caricature cartoonist for so long.
Yeah.
My bread and butter, so to speak, has been I've paid bills with caricature for so long and not painting.
Yeah.
I jump into painting again. All of a sudden, I'm like, uh-oh. Yeah, I kind of forgot some of the, the basics. But in these paintings that you see, I mean, I do throw some exaggeration. I definitely am not interested in doing detailed, realistic portraits.
Yeah.
Because they are so specific. I have broken the rules for so long with a license to break them.
Yeah.
That if I'm confined to making it look super real, I would probably get nervous.
Okay, so you use a little bit of the elements that you normally use in your work, and you combine that with something that's a little new or something that you're, No, exactly. Okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
All right, next one. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Spock?
Yes, that is Spock.
My Spock, that's my most recent one that I've finished. Actually.
Okay.
Now, how big is that? What's the measurement?
I don't know the exact. I go to these. What is it? I don't want to mention any names on your show, I guess, but like the local art places, they have all these choices of canvas, and some of the sizes are weird. I think that is I want to say 3.5 feet by 2.5 feet.
Okay,
it's a weird size.
Yeah,
him, but yeah.
When you buy your canvas, and I don't know, I don't do painting in any way, so correct me if I'm wrong. The canvas you buy, is that what sets up the whole painting? Is that how you scale it from there, or do you have an image in mind before you go at it?
Well, with Spock particularly, I was going to stretch his face out because you can see that I gave him wrinkles. I painted wrinkles on top of wrinkles on purpose because I wanted to paint wrinkles on him. I don't even think Leonard Nimoy ever had that many wrinkles. But But I really stretched his face. I elongated his face. So yes, I hope I'm answering the question. But I picked the canvas specifically for elongating his face.
Okay, yeah, and that's part of like the caricature aspect of it, I guess, because it's exaggerated, like you said earlier.
Yeah, correct.
What would you say is your favorite piece that you've ever done? Like, what's the one that you've been like when you finished it, you were like, wow. Which one was that?
I don't. Let's see. I'm trying to. When I answer the question, I don't know that I. It's a corny response because I don't know that I have a favorite. I know no one wants to hear that.
No, but I mean, when you make
my favorite one, it's my next one. No, yeah, terrible response. I like the Spock piece. Are you as far as caricature? We're talking. I mean, as far as
just
painting, the painting.
Yeah, as far as paintings go.
Okay. I like this. The Spock is probably my favorite. It's one of the ones that I had a dramatic light source going there.
Yeah.
It was a challenge because I added wrinkles, like I said, on top of wrinkles, and but in the end, painting an icon for me and being able to break the rules and do it my way, is very comfortable.
Yeah, no, and I think it's cool when you take your own like artistic take on the things that you do because nobody would draw Spock the same way you did.
Right. Elvis was fun to paint and all, and I was comfortable, but less comfortable than Spock.
Okay.
Elvis really never had. He died so early.
Yeah.
Never really had any wrinkles.
Yeah.
I mean, got a little chubby, but I mean, he never really had wrinkles.
Yeah.
And even to draw him and exaggerate him being a little heavier, you think. I mean, it's easy to do that, and it's kind of funny or whatever. But it's not so easy to pull that off.
Oh no!
And so,
I mean, I would never like looking at the paintings that I've seen of yours. I would never assume that any of them were easy. I'm like,
No,
I mean,
I
especially from
I think
someone,
amazing instead of the word easy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially
Like,
from
how
somebody
do you
who's
do
not
it?
who's nowhere near as artistic in that way as you are. I look at this stuff and I'm just like mind boggled. Every time I see it, it's like the first time again. I'm just like mind boggled. Like, oh my god,
they're fun. They're fun. So as far as a favorite, that's tough. I can tell you that my least favorite. That's not the question you asked me, but
Yeah, no, I'm curious.
I did a Johnny Cash,
Okay.
and it's I think 4. It's either 5 feet by 4 feet, or
Oh, wow.
I think it's 5 by 4 feet. And it turned out at the time I thought it was pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And then as you wake up in the morning, go downstairs and get your coffee and rub your eyes a little bit, feed that cat, and then go over and look at the Johnny Cash painting again. Almost every morning I'll find something that I'm like, ugh, you know what? I wished I would have done that instead of what I did, or I wish I
Yeah.
wouldn't have done that. I
you,
could have, would have, should have.
Do you pick apart your own art a lot? Like when you're done with it, do you go back and look at it and like, oh, I didn't do good on that. I didn't do good on that.
I'll claim to be finished on something, and it could be a month. It could be possibly close to a year later that I'll go, you know what? I got to fix that.
That's something I'm the same way when it comes to the music that I work on. Like,
Right.
when I'm editing something, I'll listen to it and I'll get it out in the car and I'm like, that's amazing. And I'll release it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I release it, I'll listen to it again and I'm like, oh my goodness, I forgot to do this, or I should have done more to this or that. And that's something I feel like a lot of artists go through.
That actually brings up a good point too. So here's a question, segueing into a question. For any artists that are out there, that do you feel, since you are an artist, do you feel like self-doubt is the thing that holds you back from releasing art? Because I know people in my personal life that don't release art because they're like, oh, it's bad, I can do better.
Oh yeah, incredibly talented people who are just worried about.
You see them every day. I mean,
Yeah.
any aspect.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's someone special in my life. My daughter Madison. Now she's 17 now. Just an amazing artist. And at 17, I'll say pound for pound, if that makes sense. But yeah, when I was 17, I could not draw, not even close.
Really?
To the ability that she has. She draws so much.
Yeah.
Sketchbook after sketchbook.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't do that. I just drew specific things that I wanted to draw, and I would just attack that one thing. I didn't really do the sketchbook thing.
Yeah.
But she's cracking out of that shell now, and she's building some confidence. And I think it's slow, but she is building confidence. But I will tell you, even just a couple years ago when she's been drawing for quite a while, but she was very shy with her work, and she was very just the lack of confidence.
Oh,
you
yeah.
you could just smell it, with her.
I'm sure that's
And,
upsetting. I mean, when you keep seeing that type
Didn't
of
want
thing.
people to, if she hears this podcast, I hope she's not too upset with me, but hi, Maddie, I love you. But she's, like I said, she's starting to break out of that
Yeah.
shell now, and she definitely is, it's coming together. She's,
Oh yeah, and
more
I think
confident.
once you get out of that, it's almost like a writer's block kind of deal. It's like once you get out of that, it feels so like, I guess the word I want to use is liberating. Like when you can actually release stuff and you get, to get to hear from others about it and hear what they think.
The confidence level, the confidence level is always going to be an item. I mean, whether it's a musician, whether it's an artist, or any other field. I don't care if it's a plumber. I mean,
Yeah.
you build confidence with your skill.
Yeah,
There's a
for sure.
there's a talent element probably involved, obviously, but it's
sure
a skill.
experience plays
your
a-
experience.
yeah.
You build this thing that you can do better than anybody else.
Yeah.
Well, so to speak. But there's always somebody better around the corner. But in your area that you are living, you're the best because of all that experience and confidence that you build slowly. So somebody comes around and you're the best. They're going to be at awe, I think, and wish they could be like that. And I think that even if they're an artist, I see it all the time where they just don't have the confidence for whatever reason. I can't speak for someone other than myself, but they don't want to take the risk.
Yeah, and it is a risk. A lot of people feel like it's not. I mean, truly, it's not a risk. But a lot of people feel like it is. They feel like the reputation will be damaged if they release this and this and that. And it's like truly, it's like everybody.
And they walk away.
Exactly.
They walk away,
Exactly.
and they may have been trained as a musician or an artist or whatever it is, and the next thing you know about them, they're working at your local thrift store or whatever it is, or fast food, or a department store, and they just walked away from it.
Yeah, they're not pursuing their dream.
They couldn't break. There's a certain thickness of ice, so to speak. There, you've got to chip away at it, and you got to be persistent, and you got to have some level of confidence that you're going to bust through that wall.
Yeah.
And once you break through to the other side, I mean, it gets better. You're better at what you do, and you hold the reins to be able to steer yourself in directions that you never thought possible. But that's the key. You got to be willing to sweat tears of blood and just stick with it and break through that wall first. And many, unfortunately, many can't hang in there that long.
Yeah.
And they give up.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And a big part of it too is making time for your art. Making time for you to express yourself, because a lot of people they get in there, they work a full-time job, they have kids, and they don't set aside time.
What are you worth? I think that's like a very important
in my
question.
case, I speak for myself, but I was probably just too dumb to not know to quit. When I was 22, we were just doing it anyway, and we weren't going to stop us, but it's probably because we weren't too bright, so we just kept on going. No, I mean, I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. It's we were persistent. Really, truthfully, we just didn't give up. And you either have that you either have that energy about yourself, or you can find it, or you just don't.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Now, this is something Alonzo brought up before we started recording. What was the question you were asking him about what he's working on currently, or something that he started on?
Yeah. So I know you mentioned to me before the actual podcast that you're wanting to get back into the gallery scene, and you have a big project you're starting. Please explain to us what you're trying to do.
Yeah, elaborate on that.
Yeah,
referring to the World War II.
Yep.
Well, okay, so even as a kid, like I said, I was always drawing army men. I just happened to really love even in the Hollywood scene, the Clint Eastwood, Kelly's Heroes type stuff, the Dirty Dozen, Telly Savalas and all the guys, Charles Bronson, all those. As a kid growing up, I just loved all that stuff, and was really into the World War II scene that way. It's the only way I could be, really. But so so you fast forward. I'm a lot older now. I'm 52 years old, but even just a few years ago, it just really hit me really hard that I really appreciated what some of those boys did back then.
Oh, yeah,
and they were basically kids, But I've always been interested in it, but I really started digging into it. And the area that I liked, I started with D-Day. I dated a very nice girl way back when, and her father was he was at the beaches of Normandy and survived. Yeah, and I got to talk to him. When we'd go visit her and have spaghetti dinners and all that.
Yeah.
And I was probably in my mid-20s, but never dawned on me to want to ask him about. He's like a walking piece of history hero.
Yeah.
And I never thought to. It's not that I didn't care. I just don't think
it's just something you don't think about in your day-to-day life.
No,
as much as people should.
But here recently, I started reading up on those boys in those B-17 bombers, and those tin, flying fortresses, and they were just made of tin.
Yeah.
Bullets are going to go right through everything, and unfortunately through the guys that are in them. And so many of those guys would go on those missions, and they wouldn't come home.
Yeah.
Many did. Memphis Belle was a famous plane. The Hells Angels as well. You can go to the Dayton Air Force Museum and learn all that stuff. But I just started reading about them, and I can't really relate, obviously, what they really went through.
Yeah.
But when you read enough from firsthand eyewitness, you get a sense for what those guys went through.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I just, at some point, just devouring myself into these readings, I wanted to, I got this idea to maybe have a small, memorial of appreciation and do some paintings of these guys that were in some of these B-17s, and especially of some of the they all had a name. Every B-17 they had their own name.
Okay,
they were all lined up on those runways, and you had to find your. I'm sure you had to find your plane with your guys. So they all looked the same. So I mean, but I wanted to just have those guys be remembered. I don't know how often people walk around on a day-to-day basis in 2019 and go, gee, I appreciate what those guys did.
I mean, that's almost never.
I mean, everyone in the military service, down to the Revolutionary War, I appreciate. I just had I was drawn to those guys.
Just like a fascination into that specifically.
So to do a gallery of paintings is a kind of an idea. At this point, I've not really started that project, but it's a burning desire to want to get started on that, and then have people be able to walk up to a B-17 painting of, there were thousands of them. I can only pick a few. Some of the guys that did not return at all. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to enjoy a painting with those guys that didn't return, and you could maybe read just a little bit about them to go along with the painting. And you'll walk away with a little bit of appreciation for what these guys did for us.
Of course, no, that's huge, and it's paying homage to just something that people don't think about on a normal basis. No one thinks
the sacrifice. What goes behind the place you live. What this really means where you're at.
I just want those guys to be remembered.
Yeah, for sure.
Vietnam as well. I mean, I'm just
that's a huge one too.
Just because I'm not painting something, I'm not drawn personally to an aspect of that war or any other war. Doesn't mean I don't. I just appreciate them all.
Now, do you think it'd be a possibility that after you do some work on this one that you'd explore those other things and look into that, or is that?
Sure. And we'll see how this one goes. And I just not too long ago learned. My grandfather was at Dunkirk.
Yeah,
he was in the French army, and so he was a French interpreter.
Okay.
And and he was one of the last to leave there. So he was like a piece of history. And it's a shame because I'm too. I mean, he died when I was younger.
Yeah.
But as I'm coming into the world, basically, some of these situations, they're going out.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
You can't spend the time. I would love to have him here so I can say, hey, Grandpa, I got some questions for you, but you can't really do that. So
yeah, no, that makes it tough, especially as time goes by. All the living memories of those things start to fade away.
Yeah.
Wow, that's super cool that you're getting involved with that. And I think a question to touch on base kind of with, since you're about to start this new line of pieces, like with history and stuff, obviously that's a way you're expressing yourself. How important, in at least your life, and then I guess maybe you can go and dive on the meaning of self-expression, but what does the way you're expressing yourself, what does that mean to you? What is that, the drive? Is that what drives you, or why are you doing it?
I think I know what you're asking me here.
Yeah, that's a weird question.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that I think what you're asking. So on a personal level for me, I mean, I don't claim to be, I'm not Picasso, for God's sake. I mean, I don't have total control over, pretty much everything that I do. At some point, maybe I can strive to have more control. That's not the important thing for me. I know my limits, and I work on them to expand those limits every day. I draw every day, but on a personal level, it's the fact that I realize that I can try to do something with my painting to affect somebody else. I've been doing that with the caricature all along. You get there's instant gratification for both the artist and the person that's paying for the caricature. They hopefully love what they get right there in 3 minutes. It's an essence of them. They're very happy with it. They can give you $10, and you're happy that they're happy.
Yeah.
So I affect people. Been doing that since the 80s when I started that. But that the awesome feeling never goes away.
Yeah.
So, like I said, starting up the painting thing again, I just want to find ways. Hopefully, this part answers the question a little more. To affect an audience, for me, is going to, and a chance to do it in the way that I, like I said, reading about those young boys and those B-17s, I think, who's painting B-17 paintings? I don't think too many people are.
Yeah, no, it's different. It's different.
Probably a little bit different, and probably maybe I don't want to say forgotten, but I don't think that's the hot topic.
No, definitely not. That's definitely not where people's minds are anymore.
I'm not interested in the hot topic to capture or collect on. The money. I'm not worried about the money part of it.
Yeah, and that's huge. That's huge. You're doing art because that's what you enjoy doing versus like I'm only doing this because I know there's a paycheck involved.
Yeah, I don't think B17 paintings are going to sell like hotcakes anytime soon. Mm-hmm. So that's not my goal.
The final question that I want to ask you here is, where can anybody listening find some of your art to check out? Do you have anywhere online that people could find to take a look at your?
I mean, I'm
portfolio?
on Facebook, so if they want to look up Jason Hay, which Hay.
Okay.
And then I think I'm the only Jason Hay in Grove City, Ohio. But
okay, so that should make it pretty simple.
Yeah, I own the caricature shop, and it's the caricature shop.art, not .com, but .art. And they can go there on the website and see a lot of my cartooning work.
Okay, nice. Well, good. That was the big thing I wanted to ask here. Again, I want to say thank you so much for doing this with us.
My pleasure.
Taking some time out of your day to talk to us. It really means a lot. And really just thanks. And
we appreciate you taking time out. And
my pleasure.
We want to follow up with you too when you start doing your next series of paintings and stuff. We want to track the progress and make sure it's seen to the people in Columbus here. So
I'll invite you. You guys are invited to my gallery show when I actually have it. It might be a year or two from now, or hopefully not.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely be there, and we will encourage our audience to be there as well.
Absolutely.
Because, you're doing something huge. For sure. So Jason Hay, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hey there, everybody. If you enjoyed this podcast and want to hear more, show us some love on our social media. And most importantly, show some love to your community. Thanks for listening.